Hi everyone, my name is Kara. I am currently at Delaware Valley University in Pennsylvania, but I'm from Massachusetts and I have been at Sunset Stables for a number of years, hence how I met Bill and Jackie. And I'm filming this from the glory of my dorm room, so welcome. I didn't meet Bill until only a handful of years ago, and before that I just knew him as Matt and Emily's grandfather. He and Jackie heroically purchased Sunset Stables, an established little barn in Whitensville, Mass., largely due to the pleas of their horse-crazed granddaughter, Emily. I grew up at Sunset. Some of my fondest memories and best relationships were made there, and we were all devastated to learn that the previous owner was selling it. Being the overdramatic teenagers that we were, we cried, my friends and I, for days at the thought of having to potentially move our horses away from the little barn that we called home. Then one day I heard a rumor. Emily's grandparents were buying the barn. Could it be true? How wonderful would it be if that barn was purchased by an inside person? I recall us all scrubbing every surface of the property and telling the horses to be on their best behavior upon their visit with the realtor. Bill showed up for his first day of manual farm labor in a pristine white polo shirt, jeans, and work boots that looked like their tags had just been cut off. We all giggled to each other at first. He didn't seem like the type that would appreciate getting his hands dirty, but we could not have been more wrong. Bill took no time at all to adjust to his new life on the farm. He took the good, the bad, and the ugly in stride. Bill was the one tearing down and replacing thousands of feet of fences, shoveling ungodly amounts of manure, and freezing his fingers off in the dead of winter while ensuring our horses' water buckets weren't frozen. He was the one that stood in the dark to replace the light bulbs in our horses' stalls, the one who spent hours and hours clearing a trail in the woods for us to ride on. If he didn't know how to do something, he learned. He was always the man we called when we broke something, which happened more often than any of us care to admit. He actually had to put a sign on the vending machine, which he bought in response to the begging of the barn kids, that said, "If not working, please don't beat on it, call Bill." And the amazing part was, no matter what mundane or ridiculous task he was doing, he was always smiling. Bill made such an effort to be in the lives of all of us at the barn. I remember one day he came up to me and asked what I was planning on doing that afternoon. I replied that I wasn't doing much, just hanging out as we all frequently did. He grinned and said, "Well, how would you like to come test drive tractors with me?" And it was one of the most fun afternoons I've ever had. By some act of God, we convinced Bill that he needed a horse trailer. You know, in case of emergencies, but mostly to take us to horse shows. We dragged that poor man to a 3-day-long horse expo in search of the perfect trailer. After looking at dozens of rigs, Farmer Bill was now the proud owner of a massive horse trailer that he had no idea how to drive. So we were sure we were in trouble when the trailer was having issues a few months later, and the manufacturer recommended bringing it out to their shop in New York. But the situation was no match for Bill. He hitched the trailer up to the farm's brand new F-350 and made the 5-hour trek himself, thus officially naming himself king of the phrase, "learn by doing." Bill and Mimi were famous for having an annual 4th of July barbecue at the barn. A few years ago, the barn kids thought it would be fun to fabricate a 20-foot slip and slide down the massive hill in their front yard. We doused the thing in dish soap from Bill's house, of course, to maximize speed. Whoever was brave enough to slide down would be soaked, soapy, and covered in grass stains. Guess who challenged me to a race? One of Bill's favorite times of the year was the Woodstock Fair, a 3-day-long horse show over Labor Day weekend. He assumed the role of cheerleader, photographer, pep talker, and he was always the one with the good snacks. Nothing made him more proud than watching us all compete, especially when it was Emily's turn in the ring. Bill was one of those people that you aspire to resemble. He lived his life with a smile on his face, regardless of the circumstances. His passion for success was evident in his work ethic, but he also knew how to let loose and have a good laugh. He gave me life advice on numerous occasions, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Bill was a wonderful father and grandfather, husband and mentor, and I will forever be grateful to the man who saved Sunset Stables.